Let's go.
What up?
Mempool, baby. I love that hat.
Yeah, I got to get you one. It's if I get one, it might arrive in time. But
Yeah,
this is
dude.
the one that gets all the comments now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it's a throwback to Marlboro, right?
Yeah,
And there's something like so nostalgic and classic about that design and putting a non-obvious mention to Bitcoin, right? Doesn't say Bitcoin or doesn't say whatever. It says mempool. So you have to, if you know, kind of thing. So I dig it, man.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's funny seeing not funny. I mean, security is important. Not letting people know you're a Bitcoiner.
We can
But
talk about that. Yeah, we can talk about that. We can get into that. Do you want to because there was that fucking Coinbase hack that needs to be discussed, but do you want to just open up and talk about some maybe revised price predictions since our last show or our last couple shows?
I'm glad you mentioned that because it seems like that's what people want to hear. So I'm going to keep it brief and say Bitcoin's going to follow the M2 global money supply. So we're looking at 128 in July. And I think we're going to 10x from there. And I think, so yeah, I was thinking July 2027, but I'm going to say July 2026, 1.28 million.
That's good. I'm gonna
Keep
say
it together, man. 1 year, 14 months, and 1.28 million.
I'm looking at July 2020 or yeah, August 2020, and I'm looking at Bitcoin around 10,000, right?
Okay.
And here we are, almost 5 years later, at north of 100,000.
10x.
And so I think 10x, yeah, and that's a 10x that was COVID stimulus. Stimulus is always going to be coming, right? As you say, the M2 money supply. But the players at the game now, right? This is not like it was in 2020, it was retail driven. Now it's nation state adoption and institutions and Bitcoin treasury companies, which we could talk about Bitcoin treasury companies a little bit more. So I don't think we can look at it and say, well, by the way, the longer the time goes by, the more risk averse it becomes, and the less Bitcoin there is in circulation, the less Bitcoin there is on exchanges. So there's so many variables that point to not just a 10x, right? But maybe a 15x, maybe a 15x.
Yeah. Or you could say if it took 5 years to 10x, maybe we'll take 2.5
It takes
years.
two, right? Cuts the time in half for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
I
maybe
think
it's a 20x over
yeah.
5 years, And I think nobody realizes how scarce Bitcoin is. We're going to wake up and it's not going to be available. And then we'll be like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin is scarce. There isn't any available. It's $2 million per Bitcoin. But until then, we're going to be lulled into this sleep where we think we can always buy as much as we want, and that isn't true.
No, it's not true. It's not true. So we got to take advantage of these days. It feels like an absolute gift to be able to stack right now. And people discovered Bitcoin far before we discovered Bitcoin, and they're reaping the benefits of that. They are rewarded for hodling throughout what was the most risk-on time to hold Bitcoin. Uh, and as I said, just to repeat that, the more time goes by, the more people own it, more people adopt it, the more risk averse it becomes. And I don't think, I just, I don't like being excited about the institutions. Like I just wish it were retail driven. I mean, I wish the normal folks were buying it. And so that's why we do this show ultimately. It's just like if you I'm assuming you're not an institution if you're watching the show. We're trying to speak to just the regular plebs out there or people that are new to Bitcoin. So I hope that if you hear this message that you decide to just buy a little Bitcoin today. Stack with us today in a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, maybe we should stack right now instead of waiting till the end of the show because I feel
Yeah,
like
let's do it.
it's a key part of the show, and I don't know if people stay with us long enough to see it. So we should
You're
just
right.
do it.
Yeah, if you don't stay with us for the whole show, this is like the best part is that we buy Bitcoin live. Well, I guess not live because we
I mean, we buy it while we're alive.
but we buy
Uh,
it while we're alive. And so if you the whole thing is if you buy Bitcoin with us, you ended up with more Bitcoin than you had going into this show. So stack what you can. I'm doing 21 per
Me
user.
too.
Okay.
20,000 sats.
20,000 sats. Let's go.
It's going to be 20 grand. Those 20,000 sats are going to be 20 grand before too long.
Use River.
I'm using Strike.
Nice. Well, we did it. That's a wrap.
There it goes. Good show, man. Yeah.
Takes a
So
little
what do you
while, huh?
think? What's that?
Strike takes a
Sure.
little while, huh?
Yeah, it went. It finally went. Yeah, nice. Yeah, what were we going to talk about? Coinbase?
Well,
Coinbase
yeah, we talked about
came out and
Coinbase. Um, Coinbase was hacked. Either it was hacked or
bribed.
Coinbase employees sold personal information on the black market. And yay, KYC is working, right? This bank,
KYC.
these
It's
Bank
the
Secrecy Act bullshit thing, and the Know Your Customer rules where you have to like put your license and all this personal information over to like what is the most sensitive, most like the biggest honeypot platform you can think of. And Coinbase is just one, right? But it underscores how I think KYC is evil and it should not exist. And although I am fortunate that I don't use Coinbase, I've been prohibited from using Coinbase in Hawaii. But back in the
oh,
day,
you're good.
the first Bitcoin I bought, which was in 2017, before you could do any KYC or you needed to do any KYC stuff with Coinbase, is when I bought Bitcoin. Not a ton, but but I still bought some there, so I think I'm in the clear at least.
Yeah, you're probably good. I it's just crazy. And they say it's only 1% of users, which
Bullshit.
could be a million people. And they say they're not going to pay the ransom. They're going to spend 20 million finding whoever the perpetrators are. Like, give me a break, dude. This is not a hack. This is an absolute just inside the house, you know? The
Yeah.
enemy is inside the house. And you can't prevent this. The only option is to buy no KYC Bitcoin, and there are ways to do that. RoboSats. Um, there's lots of different ways where you can get Sats, you know, peer to peer. And yeah, I think goodness,
Auto
I
hodl is a good option.
yeah, that's another one. That's
KYC stats. Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's those options. I just wish that it were easier for people. I mean, even you go to your local bit devs and there's people that you're going to meet that are wanting to sell you KYC free Bitcoin. Um, I in principle I disagree with KYC, but I think like if you ever plan on selling that Bitcoin, right, on the open market and using that toward a house or something that's traceable, tangible, then it is, I think, warranted to have like one like legit stack, like a KYC stack, and then
yeah,
one that's KYC free. Um, but I mean, you got to be really, it sucks because you can be completely flawless with your OPSEC and everything, but then in exchange like Coinbase, this happens. There are other options. There's Anchor Watch, which is insurance providers on Bitcoin, which I think is looking more and more appealing. Eventually, you kind of pay like one less than 1% per year of like your total stack.
right.
And if you ever get robbed, right, or move Bitcoin or whatever, something that happens like that, you're reimbursable up to like 250 million or something significant
Yeah,
like that.
it is significant. And yeah, I think that's good. The other thing is that you can mine Bitcoin. I just
Yeah,
plugged
you
in a
can.
little Nano S3 from Canaan into my office, and now I'm
Cool.
mining on F2 Pool. It's not a lot, you know, unless we hit a block, but I think that's another good way to get some Bitcoin. And you're right. KYC is the illicit activity. That's the crime is being forced to KYC. And I think, without some serious changes, it's hard to get around that. I mean, we're trying to onboard people and buy Bitcoin, and KYC, unfortunately, is part of the experience today.
Yeah.
It's still worth buying the Bitcoin, though. It's still worth putting your privacy at risk. I think you have to look at Coinbase and say, do I want to trust them, or maybe I go with a smaller company where the honeypot isn't as large, and that would be my takeaway. It's like, don't use Coinbase. They've just shown that they're not trustworthy.
Yeah, don't use crypto casino exchanges like Coinbase, right? Use Bitcoin only exchanges, although, yeah, it could still happen. And there's been data breaches from certain Bitcoin companies, exchanges out there, even though they're Bitcoin only. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I guess own guns. Make sure you have guns and ammo and security cameras and practice good OPSEC and stay frosty out there. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess I mean, and because listen, if you are a successful person in this world, you're just going to be a target. You are a target. And so that's why successful, wealthy people live in areas that are safe areas, gated, gated homes. They've got security cameras and like they're because you are a target, right? Got to realize that. So as a Bitcoiner, whether or not you've realized the fruits of your labor yet, eventually you will, and there will be a target on your back. So I think it's just a good idea to start acting like what your future life is going to look like.
Yeah, that's good advice. Don't wear the Bitcoin hat that says Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember the one guy on Twitter posted a picture of like him in the airport security checkout, and it said, "I'm a whole coiner." Like, dude, nope.
You might not make it to your destination.
Bad idea.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good advice because, the Vegas conference is coming up later this month.
Yeah.
And that I've just been thinking over the past couple days because there was a crypto guy that got kidnapped or tried to get kidnapped in France. And you just wonder how many plebs are going to be wearing Bitcoin merch and making themselves at risk. And even if nobody assaults you, it's not worth the risk to be in a public venue that's probably has a lot of security cameras. There's a lot of people taking images or photos or video. Like you're going to be at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas and you're going to stick out like a sore thumb,
Yeah.
with a Bitcoin hat or a Bitcoin shirt. I know it's going to happen. It happened in Nashville. And, I don't know. I think on one hand, it's not that big a deal. But on the other hand do you want to take the risk?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to meeting Bitcoiners and stuff. I get a little apprehensive about these larger Bitcoin conferences, just one because they can be very like overwhelming. And
Mhm.
it can be hard to like make connections on the ground just because there's a sea of people. I mean, 30,000 attendees is a lot of attendees. I want to really start doing the smaller ones, but yeah, I am excited. I'm really excited. Here's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to hear JD Vance, the vice president, the Trump brothers, Eric and the other Trump, Trump number one and Trump number two, David Sachs, the crypto czar, uh, Cynthia Loomis, the politician. Dude, I'm looking at this lineup. Michael Saylor, the CIA operative.
Yeah,
I'm
it
looking at the
is.
website right now, and these are all the pictures it's showing me. I mean, I'm being tongue in cheek, it's great. Whatever. It's pretty crazy that you got these kind of names that are speaking at a Bitcoin conference, but I'm not excited to really hear what like they've got to say too much. I'm excited to see Ross Ulbricht. Um, I mean, who else? Like,
I'm not even interested in the speakers. I
yeah,
I shouldn't say that out loud because I'm sure there's going to be some great ideas and thoughts and whatever new innovations coming, but what I find is most rewarding is just meeting other Bitcoiners who get it, and finding the people that are Bitcoin only. And the other thing is meeting some of your Twitter friends, your ex friends. I did that in Nashville and it was great. That I would go just to meet the Anons. And I don't, no one's going to convince me if Bitcoin's good or bad at this point. I'm 100% in, and it is sort of a Fed conference.
Yeah.
But it's the plebs. I'll just be like roaming the display booths for all the Bitcoin companies, and
Yeah.
that's kind of my thought.
Yeah, I do that with you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of work, because I've got a couple clients on the ground and I've got a press pass, as do you. So I'm going to hopefully make some introductions with reporters, and media, and some of the companies that I work with. And dude, hopefully just make some new connections of other Bitcoin companies that I could potentially help them out with their comms.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Other than you, I don't really know anyone else going. So,
Yeah, dude,
uh,
we'll just be it's gonna be fun. We'll be together having our
yeah,
conversations and drinking all the beers, meeting all the
yeah,
plebs, all the companies too. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I think the beauty is in the side events too. And we've got that going. We've got the Tuesday night thing, pub key. Wednesday, I haven't bought the ticket yet for the Bitcoin Bugle thing, but I think it's kind of like just wait a little bit to buy that. I don't know if they're gonna get capacity, you
yeah.
know?
Let me know if you do, and I'll do it. I
Yeah.
think it could be a day of also.
Yeah, I mean it's like $20, I think, $40. So I mean if there's nothing else going on Wednesday, then why not?
Yeah,
And then Thursday is the last night, and then that's the other pub key thing too, right? So
yeah. I
I,
mean, I
I think
think,
that's the main thing.
yeah, I haven't looked at all the side events, but I'm willing to play it by ear and just do whatever. I went to the whatever the beef, the carnivore, I don't know what it was, grass-fed something. And it was like all you can eat carnivore, all you can eat beef. And
Beefsteak?
I don't know what they were serving. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was just like tons of people on a lawn in Nashville, and then you just stand in line for about an hour and get a plate of cut up beef.
Fuck that, dude. I hate
I
that
know.
shit.
It was such a disappointment because I was thinking you'd go through a line and like give me a fillet, a ribeye, a sirloin, a tri-tip, and it was
Yeah.
just like you're just getting chunks of meat. I don't know what it was. I mean, it was good. It was okay, but
I think I saw that. I think I saw who's the carnivore MD? Is
yeah,
that like
yeah. Paul
unit?
Saladino.
No, no, yeah, Paul Saladino, that's him.
Oh, Sean Baker. Sean
Sean
Baker.
Baker, yeah, just an absolute unit.
Yeah, dude. He is that guy.
Because there was a competition, right? Like who could eat the most steak the fastest or something, and he won.
Yeah, it was cool. It's funny. There's like definitely A-list celebrities within Bitcoin, and then there's B-list, and then C-list. And it's funny because you see people like Mark Moss, uh, and in person, the guy looks like he should be famous.
Mark
It's fun.
Moss?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
I
people
know.
who are they're
Dude,
celebrities within
he's got
art.
that look because I met him at Pacific Bitcoin at the Pacific
Yeah,
Bitcoin Festival, and I was like, dude, there's like, yeah, like
aura.
he looks famous. I don't know what that sounds kind of
I,
gay, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean though, because I picked up on it also. And you think they're just like, you just watch their YouTube videos. And I guess it's just like being starstruck, but we're talking about like within a niche of a niche, like within Bitcoin.
although I did hear about Alec or
That's funny.
I heard about Mark Moss through like Alex Jones like a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's cool, man. Definitely a little easy to be a little starstruck with some of the people,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, dude.
and not everyone is like super approachable. I met Ben Askren at the Pacific Bitcoin Festival, and
Remind me.
he had an aura.
Who's that? What does that guy
He's the
do?
MMA fighter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I don't know. It's good enough, dude. Good enough, dude. It's just it's there's so many people, and I'm sure they get like a bit exhausted having conversations with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody wants you to anyway think you're important. It's those guys are important. We're just the plebs.
It's
Nobody.
good to be a pleb, dude. I think it's good
Yeah,
to be like in our lane and not have the
there's no
pressure of that.
pressure.
Yeah, people coming up to you or like speaking and having to uphold this sort of thought leadership image. It's a lot easier for me as like a professional in the industry to take the founders and spokespeople and like, okay, you go talk to the media, like you go be front and center. I'll just organize it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I
No,
still
that's
derive
good.
some joy and fulfillment out of that. That's a really cool thing for me to do.
Yeah, man. So I saw this post today from Wicked, who Wicked Smart Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I mean, he is smart.
wicked
Um,
smart.
what I liked
Wicked
is he
smart.
posted this chart, and essentially it was a whatever a Python chart that animated, and the nut of it, the crux is a $50 a week investment in Bitcoin since 2018 to today. You spend 19 grand over the 8 years. The $19,000 investment is worth today 142,000.
Well,
So we buy $21 a week, and we're talking 2018. So I mean, Bitcoin has gone up quite a lot since 2018, but if we think about like where it's going to go over the next 8 years, I mean, 2033, like we're not far away from Saylor's, base case of 13 million in 2040. And his bull case is like 40 something million or 30 million, something ridiculous. So, thinking about putting in 20 grand over the next 5 years could net you, who knows, half a million, something crazy like that. Um, to me, that it was just pretty striking. I'm not sure if you saw that.
yeah, I'm looking at it. I just liked it and reposted it. And it actually showed next to it that I wasn't following you. And then I clicked on your profile and then it said I was following you. I'm like, what the fuck? It's weird.
Oh,
Yeah,
weird.
I think even like if we're doing this on a weekly basis and we're doing 21, that's just like fun. That's not even like what we're actually wanting to fully commit to Bitcoin, you know? But even if it was just that, even if it was just that over this time frame, right? You're still making out really well.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
so same principle applies. Same principle applies. I think once you've been in it for like 4 or 5 years, at least a cycle, and then you come back around to your second cycle, then like you really start to get it. You understand the certainty of what's coming, and it just becomes easier. It becomes easier to hold, becomes easier to buy because it's like you're in the secret that is like the best kept secret or something. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I love this. I think it's like, yeah, just buy what you can. That's it. Even if it's not a ton, if it's just $50 a week, do it. You know, because
Yeah.
your future self in 7, 8 years will look back on that and say that was probably the best investment decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, the other thing is consistency. You can't just buy $50 once and let it sit there.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy who bought $100 last year and then he bought another 100. And he looked at it this week and he's like, oh, my money doubled. I'm like, yeah, I think if you had been doing that the whole time,
Yeah.
like he's off zero. He's got $200 or $400 now worth of Bitcoin. He spent 200 on it, but
Man,
it's like it's as soon as you get it, you start thinking about scale. And it's like, okay, well, if Bitcoin goes up 10x and I spend $1,000, I'll have 10 grand. It's like, is that enough? Got to put in
yeah,
100, get a million. It's like you need the scale.
that's it. Yeah, the worst is having friends that just don't buy Bitcoin. When you tell them, like I gifted friends of mine Bitcoin at like 20K, $50 each. And I'm like, look at like look at where that's at now. I was telling them, buy it right now. And, yeah, it could have went from 10 to 12 or 20 to 10,000 or whatever. But look at, yeah, I mean, it's just, and then you get to the point where you're like, whoa, shoot, like I definitely missed the boat. And man, I'm just going to wait for it to go back down. But that opportunity, you can't wait for that. You just have to go. You just have
Yeah.
to start allocating.
Yeah, man. That's good.
What else, man?
I don't know, man. That's kind of it. I got to go pick up a kid from school, but
Cool.
I feel like we hit the highlights today.
I think so. I think nice, clean show, some exciting topics. If you if you got any thoughts, any viewers we get out there, feel free to comment. Let us know. What's your price prediction? What do you think? Where do you think we're going to be let's say what's the end of year prediction you have, and what's like the 4 year prediction you have? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, a Brazilian dollars in 4 years. It's definitely going to be, yeah, 1.28 million.
We'll see what people say. We'll see if they say anything, but this is a good test.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
brother. Have a good one.
You too. See ya.
Later.